It says we are live. Excellent.
Okay, great.
Hi, I'm Carrie Campbell with the Dog Gurus. And for those of you who are not familiar with us, we help pet care businesses launch, grow, and profit. We offer business consulting services as well as staff training programs. And speaking of staff training and business opportunities, we are hosting a live business breakthrough workshop this April, the 9th through the 11th in Denver, Colorado. This is a fantastic opportunity for you and as business owners or leadership team members to come and learn from the industry's top experts. Our keynote speaker is Amber Burkhalter. She has over 25 years of experience in the industry. And she just is such an inspiration. She will do a great job helping you and your managers focus on the positive benefits of increasing your culture and positivity with both your pets and your staff. Our sponsors for this event include Destination Pet, Pet Exec, Pet Vet, Blue Nine Pet Products, Terwisha Construction, Sync Pet, Kin Bowls, Canine Grass, Ginger, the Professional Animal Care Certification Council, and so on and so on. We just have a fabulous lineup of individuals that'll be there speaking, as well as different sponsors and vendors throughout the industry to participate for the 3-day event. And we are just thrilled to be able to bring this opportunity to you. Tickets are on sale now. We have just a few VIP tickets left. So I'm going to drop a link here in the chat. And if you are interested, click on the link and purchase your ticket today. Don't worry, we guarantee this will be the best investment you can make for your business this year. So dropping that, it should posting in the chat. There we go. Awesome. Well, I'm so excited because today I have my friends from Destination Pet with me. Destination Pet has been a longtime partner with the Dog Gurus, and they are a platinum sponsor at our upcoming Business Breakthrough Workshop in Colorado. With me today, I have Jerry Messenden. He is down in Florida, and he's a Senior Director of Business Development. Rob Correa, who is the Director of Business Development just south of the Boston area. And Brett Anderson, Senior Vice President of Corporate Development. Gentlemen, welcome. It is so great to have you here with me today.
Happy to be here.
Yeah. So, Brett, you said you're not in Philadelphia, but how's the weather in Texas right now?
It is really nice, very sunny, and a much bigger change than Philadelphia right now.
Yeah.
I bet.
Yeah. And Jerry, how about you? Is Florida beautiful as always?
Oh, yeah. It's 71 degrees.
Right, oh, that's now. Awesome. That's great. And Rob, what about you? Is it colder up in the Northeast?
Oh, it's a nice balmy 39 degrees right now.
So for the last 32 years, I lived in Anchorage, Alaska, and I am snowbirding for my first winter, and I'm staying with my sister in Colorado. But in the corner of my little desktop display, I always have the weather conditions for Anchorage to make me so grateful that I am not there. So, same thing right now. It is like 31 degrees in Anchorage, and I'm just really grateful to have sunshine, and it's like 57 here in Colorado. So great weather all around. Brett, I know that you have brought a presentation for us. So Why don't we go ahead and begin there, and then we can jump at some questions afterwards.
Okay. I will get started here in just a second. Let me pop it up. Looks like it's on its way.
Here we go. Perfect.
Okay. You can see it okay?
Yes.
Okay. All right. I'll get started. First of all, thanks, Carrie. Really appreciate the introduction. Happy to be here with the Dog Gurus, and certainly proud to not only be here with your team and partnering with you, but also the awesome group of other sponsors that you mentioned. Those are all great industry partners. So I feel like we're in good company, all being together for the betterment of pets and pet families. So I'll just start with who we are, at the top line. So what Destination Pet does is that we buy, we own, and we operate pet resorts and veterinary clinics across the country. As all of you know, is that the pet services industry is very fragmented. And what we are trying to do is bring connected care I'd like all of us to imagine the day where we don't have to, call back and chase down vet records, or that we can think of a day where, all of the preferences of your customers are all in one place. And I think that that's what we are striving for, is to connect all of the pet resorts and pet services and veterinary for all of our pet parents to be one place where we can kind of bring the entire industry together. So what we also do is that we want to carry on your legacy. We want to help you guys as owners retire or move on to your next endeavor. And we try to do this the easiest that we can, the easiest way possible. After 180 plus acquisitions, we think that we've run into, almost all of the challenges, the obstacles, and the problems that we might face during a transition. So that I think that we are in a really good spot to help you overcome some of those challenges and intricacies of your own pet resort, and hopefully and help you through that. And if we're the best choice for you, that's great. If not, we'll turn to some of our industry partners to help you, find what your goals are in your next endeavor. As I said, we've got 180 plus locations. We are the fastest growing pet services company. We have had new leadership take over back in August of 2022. And during that time, we have doubled in size. We had 66 acquisitions in 2023. If you think about that and kind of unravel that, that is more than one per week. As I said before, it is a fragmented industry, but we really want to connect those pet parents and centers so that we can bring the industry together so it's not as fragmented. All of you as owners want to be the center of choice in all of your areas, and just as we do, we look for those centers of choice in each of the markets that we're in, and we want to be that one place where we can bring pet families together and connect them with the grooming, training, daycare, boarding, and also medical service as well. So in 2024, our focus is going to be primarily on growth, momentum, and excellence. One of the amazing things that we had the opportunity to do in the last year, like I said, bringing on those 66 new pet centers, and actually, just by the way, the numbers are 63 of those were pet centers, 3 of those were vet centers. But in addition, just bringing on 66 new centers to our fleet, we were able to bring on an amazing group of people. And this year, we are investing in those people and those centers and those communities. Just to give you an idea, is that we just restructured our field team. As you can imagine, bringing on 66 centers, all within a year, put a lot of pressure on our field leadership team, which started the year of about 7 individuals in the field leadership positions. This year, starting January 1st, we've increased that to over 20 individuals in field leadership positions. One of the things that I'm most proud of is that 88% of them were internal promotions. So typically center managers that have been promoted into district directors or into area vice presidents. And that is something that we're really, really proud of. As a matter of fact, in the operations department, we have got an internal goal of having all of the positions filled internally. So that really is going to, tap the talent that we're able to see that are out in the centers out there, and actually become more of a field-focused leadership team, and really driven by the centers versus a top-down approach. A couple of the other things that I'm really proud of is that as we've grown to over 4,000 employees, we also have an excellent couple of different initiatives this year. And one of the things I'm proud of that has been received extremely well in the centers and the support center as well, that being corporate, is we have a great DEIB program and well-being program. All of that is important, and we do our best to reinforce that everybody does belong. And as you know, this is a lonely profession in some cases, and there are a lot of individuals out there that need a lot of help. So I'm very proud of that. We're also investing in our centers. As you can imagine, bringing on 66 centers, there's a lot of projects to take on, whether that is, big expansions and adding more kennels, or whether it's just, operating expenditures, maintenance, and even capital expenditures. We got, quite frankly, we don't do everything, perfect by bringing on 66 centers because we were really, focused on those acquisitions. But we had a backlog. We didn't have the support staff, with the facilities team. But now we are actually using 2024 to really grow internally and organically. So I'm really proud that we're going to be spending and reallocating, redeploying some of the capital that we were using for acquisitions, but investing in our centers organically. And then also we're going to invest in the community. We're going to focus on being that center of choice and instill that culture with every one of our 4,000 employees within their communities. So very, very proud of that. So what do we look for? We're looking for centers that are doing typically over 1 million in revenue. We're looking for EBITDA margins that are, plus or 25%, plus or minus, 3 to 5%. Looking for facilities that are greater than 5,000 square feet, but most of the time the sweet spot is over 7,000 square feet. We look for 60 plus quality boarding kennels. We're looking for both indoor and outdoor play yards. Certainly would like to have an efficient flow and layout, clean, organized, minimal odor when you walk in to the facilities. We want to establish market and customer base. And we also have found that the centers that we bring on that have an experienced general manager also hit the ground running with the inevitable changes that occur, whether it's staff, benefits, payroll, some of the normal things that you would encounter, just changing systems and just changing ownership. So I thought I'd just take a few minutes here, maybe just 5 minutes, and then we'll of course open it up to question and answer. But as I said, we see a lot of issues that we need to work through with the owners and the sellers. And I just wanted to kind of go through some of the main or most common operational and organizational issues. Like I said, I swear I won't take too much time, but I just thought it would be, some of the things that we've seen with the experience of not just the 66 in 2023, but the 180 over the course of our history. First of all, we're looking for, in terms of KPIs and key performance indicators at the operational level, we're looking for a boarding occupancy rate of about 40%. We want to look at labor margins that are right around 40%. And then we also want to see, kind of what the APC is, the average pet charge. And of course, that's going to vary on the lines of service that you actually have and what you actually have available. Additionally, we want a strong GM. We've found that, like I said, the centers that actually do the best when we bring them over during the transition are having that stable management team. And then a couple of the other hangups that we've had is we do have staff requirements, being an employer based in Colorado and having, that's where our headquarters are, and having 4,000 plus employees. We're held to a different standard in terms of the federal levels and labor laws. So we do have to have employees that are 16 years or older. We need a I-9 check. We have a really high level background check that we have to run consistently through the employees that we're acquiring. And we focus all on W-2 versus 1099. So those are the things that we look for, that sometimes, we have to have some back and forth with the sellers and the owners. And then organizational roadblocks, just real quick here, is that as all of you know, you've worked very hard getting your permits and licensing, zoning, all of those types of things. And we too have got to go and verify and validate, all of those. And many times, some of the centers that we take over are, passed down through generations and or at least through decades, and some things that you might be grandfathered in or was never an issue. Sometimes being corporately owned, we're looked at a little differently. So we do need to make sure that all of those are aligned as well. So we do have to spend a lot of time and have a whole department that will go and help validate all of those occupancy permits as well. So if you do have any questions, after we go through this, if there is any questions that we can answer, we're happy to do it, on this call. But I just want to leave some contact names and numbers for you. Of course, you've got Jerry and Rob both on the phone, and then Jason Shine also is on the business development team as well. And there's their email addresses and their phone numbers. So.
Go ahead. I was just going to say, why don't you go ahead and leave that up just in case people wanted to write those down.
Okay. Did I take it down already?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. We can drop that in the chat, maybe.
Okay. Did I just see Jason join us?
Yes.
Hi, Jason.
I did. How are you? Hi, Carrie. How are you?
I'm well. Are you back home? Is the weather good where you are?
No, I'm actually at a conference here in Texas, so actually a little bit warmer. So sorry I was late to the show here.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Great to see you. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah.
So going back to your presentation, Brett, the chart that you had that was the map of the U.S. and all of the different locations were the blue ones veterinary practices and the orange ones pet resorts?
Yeah, thanks for pointing that out.
Okay.
So yeah, in terms of the mix, and if you just think back to that map, you saw a little sprinkling of blue there. Of our 180 or so centers, we have about 35 that are veterinarians. So we do, since our inception, what we have attempted to do, when I mentioned the connected care earlier as well, is that we've tried to actually, build some, what we call a hub system where we've got, a suite of services, a veterinarian clinic along with pet services, around that. So a hub and spoke model, if you will. So we've got, just based on, if we've got a vet center, it also might be a hub to 2 or 3 pet resorts. If you got one on the east side of that or one on the west side, we've actually got 75 markets where we consider that we've got a hub and we've got that entire suite of services, all within a 20-minute drive.
Do you see that there's collaboration with the vet clinics and the pet resorts as far as education wise towards pet parents? Is that a goal?
I think what I see most of the time is that there is certainly a professionalism. And I would say that in most cases, we see what I would describe agnostic, where typically a pet resort owner, they won't just work with one vet or have a preferred vet, despite the fact that there might be some synergy in terms of cross-selling and reference. I think that, with the fact that they've probably got, a radius of maybe 30 to 50 miles, there's an awful lot of vets in between there, and they would hate to limit themselves to just one vet. So I think in the most case that most actually deal and work with others. But we don't see a whole lot of exclusivity, if you will, with just a pet resort just working with one vet and vice versa.
So speaking of veterinarians and the whole kind of impact that we've seen since last fall, have your resorts had, or even the vet clinics, have they seen a big impact with this mystery dog illness?
Well, I mean, it's certainly, the short story is really no. The vet clinics have not seen much with the mystery illness. However, our pet resorts certainly have, because I think that with all of the news and the media coverage of the mystery illness back in November and December, we had an awful lot of cancellations in our pet resorts. However, we did not see the same what you would expect in the vet clinics, where people were running to the vet clinics with their pets. So we feel that it was overblown. Certainly, it's something there. In fact, most of you are probably aware that there were a few real pockets typically up in the Northwest, up in Eastern, Washington and in Oregon, as well as New Hampshire. There was a pocket. Now we think that pocket was there actually midsummer and not necessarily when it seemed to really hit the media. But there were a couple of pockets, across the country, according to AVMA. But we did not experience a downturn in our vet clinics the way that we did with the pet clinics with cancellations and folks that are just a little nervous and just didn't want to take any chance.
On a personal note, I kept emailing the Today Show, do a follow-up.
Yeah. Well, thank you for that. Yes.
Well, it's so annoying when you get a newscast that is nationwide like that. And, the gist of their segment was, the bottom line, don't lodge your pet over the holiday season. And it's just like, wait a second. There are just, like you said, small pockets. There's only 13 states that have any reported cases. And if you look at the whole population of dogs in this country, it's not even a blip on the map, the number of dogs who have been affected. So they made such a panic out of it. I think it really was a negative impact on the pet industry. And that's unfortunate because, I think if we just did a small follow-up and said, and by the way, especially with spring break coming up, that it really wasn't an issue. So
yeah,
well, the Today Show website, and you can contact them directly through their website.
Yeah, that's a great idea. And, to your point, we're aware of the clients that you work with, and, we know the standards that all of you have, and, the sanitation requirements, and us being a big company and in across 35 different states, we've got, and having, veterinarians on our not only on our board, but also on our executive team, that that our standards are pretty high too. And so it's we certainly felt that it was actually an overly safe place to be in the pet resorts.
Let's see, what was my other questions? So you kind of mentioned the whole general manager aspect, but if someone were to ask you what the top 3 things they should focus on in order to prepare their business for a sale or an acquisition, what would you suggest?
Well, first of all, it would be, getting, all of their finances aligned and organized. You can debate, back and forth in terms of, their accountant on one hand is probably telling them take all the tax benefits that they can. If they're paying themselves rent, they probably have the rent, very, very low. When you're going to us or another, outfit like us, we need to look at fair market value. But also on the other hand, if you're, paying yourself, a really hefty salary, we probably would take that back down to more of a general manager salary, to basically equal out, that EBITDA, once the seller would leave. So it really is just really the finances. I would think one of the other things too, is that sometimes gets overlooked is just like selling a house, it's really the curb appeal. And there are, understandably, you might not want to do a whole lot of, capital improvement projects, but there are some simple things that you can do to make it, attractive. As we've grown, we've become more selective. And so, it would not be unusual for the committee to during our reviews to be reviewing 6 resorts, at the same time, or 6 different facilities at the same time. And the ones that have got the prettiest pictures and, the cleanest floors and the brightest facilities, fairly or unfairly, certainly to get the attention in those things. So it's very important that that the curb appeal inside and out is important because it matters when there's only a certain amount of capital to go around. And if we're reviewing, they could be the 6 best that we'll see all year, but if they're on the same agenda as one another, there could be some that might not make the cut. So, and then of course, the GM, that is a big thing, and making sure that you may not be a complete absentee owner, but basically having that GM to have some autonomy there, and the confidence to be able to run the center, once the seller is exited the business.
I really like the fact that you are focusing on that growth from within, because that's one of the things, since post-pandemic, we've seen a bigger struggle to hire and retain employees. There's definitely a change in mindset that's occurred. But also when you are a one mom and pop shop and you don't have that growth potential, creating kind of that career opportunity for someone in this industry can be difficult because you only have so many leadership positions. But the fact that you have such a large organization, that growth and the potential for those employees is significant. And I would imagine if you're looking to do more of that promotion from within, that if you have someone who came to you as a GM, they have opportunities to move up into other like district or regional positions and step out of the actual resort work. So that's fantastic. I think that's a great key tool that you have that a lot of the single, one-off mom and pop owner or facilities, they don't have that opportunity.
Yeah, very much so. I mean, we hear that a lot. I mean, listen, the sellers, and the owners that have, put their blood, sweat, and tears of building their business and paying off their small business loans and the hand-to-hand combat in the community and handing out flyers and trying to drum up business. They deserve to get the payday that they're going to get. But many times, not that the money's not important, it's what's going to happen to their employees that's just as important, if not more important in some cases. And that includes benefits. And, a lot of owners aren't able to afford benefits or don't provide benefits. And, we're able to provide the benefits and very recently been able to show the upward mobility in a career and not just a job. And we're really proud of that. And like I said, I think we're all proud on this call, Jason, Rob, Jerry, and I, along with the team, to have been able to acquire 66 centers. But I happen to be in Dallas right now at what we're calling an all pause meeting, and we've got about 200 center managers here, along with the corporate staff, and focusing really on them and really, you're backing up the words in terms of being, field led and having their voice heard. And it's just been a really refreshing conference here for them.
We had one question from Mikey, who is a client of ours up in Idaho, and she just said, I have seen DP so many times and I don't know what it stands for. Now she knows. So thank you for that information.
Great.
Yeah,
Thanks,
she's got
Mikey.
a fantastic resort in Idaho. So that's wonderful. Are there any questions from the audience before we start to wrap things up? I haven't seen any come in. Oh, wait, nope. Maybe. I see typing, but it's not popping up. So we'll give them just a second. Again, I really want to thank you all for joining us today. We're so excited that we just have a chance to highlight what you're doing. And like you said, I think it's really important that pet care business owners, as a former one myself, when you have that opportunity to see your legacy, if you will, come to fruition and step away from your resort and know that your employees are well taken care of, and that the culture and that you've created for your clients remains there. So, let's see here. Okay. So Emily says, is revenue of greater than 1 million not on your, if revenue is less than 1 million, are we not on your radar at all? Or is just 1 million or greater than 1 million the ideal number?
I mean, that's our target number. I mean, technically, if we see a path, to 1 million, perhaps it's just, a groomer is just becoming ramped and they just started, halfway through the year. If there's expansion opportunity, if for some reason the owner needs to exit the business sooner than what they expected, for a life event, we'll take a look at those on a case by case basis. But yeah, typically, especially where we are in our evolution, is that 1 million is pretty much the target where we're looking. But there are exceptions for sure.
And then we had someone else ask about if the owner is the general manager, is it important to hire and have a new GM in place to understand and learn all the issues from the business, so it's easier to pass on the business.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, that's important. I would say that, of the ups and downs that we had, and obviously there's a bell curve of how the centers have performed once we took them on, just in terms of just normal operational types of issues. We have found that actually the top 10 versus the bottom 10, 9 of the 10 basically had an existing GM in place. The bottom 10, 7 of those were actually GMs that were still ramping. And that's not, it doesn't mean that, and of course, as we're looking at this, we're looking at it as a 5-year investment. We don't expect, everything to fall into place and be perfect within that first year. But those are some metrics that when I say hit the ground running, I at least mentioned that earlier, in the presentation, is that we certainly have found that it's an easier transition for all.
Do you purchase the real estate as well, or does the existing owner need to lease it back to you?
We can do that. I mean, they can lease it, but we do work with other real estate partners that will buy the building along with us buying the business on literally the same day.
Lots of thank yous. So great. Are there any other questions out from our audience that we can pass off to Brett and Rob, Jason, and Jerry while we still have them?
Hey, Brett, can you put up that last slide with
with the
our
contract,
information?
Let's see if I can. Should be able to do it now. Can you see it now?
Yep. Can you go to the slide, the slideshow view from that current? There we go. Make it a little bit bigger. Yay. All right. Give everybody a couple of minutes to write down that information if they are interested. And destpet.com is your main website. Is that correct?
Destinationpet.com.
Destinationpet.com. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And just to clarify, there's a typo. My area code is actually 415.
So,
sorry for the mistake there.
Thanks, Jason.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okie dokie. Well, I think that's probably given everybody enough time, so we will sign off for this week. I do want to just mention a few things. I'm going to put the link back in our chat if you are interested in our live event and being able to book tickets for that. And then you would have a wonderful opportunity to meet these gentlemen in person and be able to talk to them about what they do and potentials for your business. And also, we do have a Facebook group that is free to join. It's called Grow Your Pet Care Business. And we have 2 rules, and that is to be nice and don't try to sell anything. So I'm going to put the link there. It's a fabulous community where you can post all kinds of questions and get feedback from other peers in the industry. So let me post that as well. And perfect. All right. So that will wrap us up for this week. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining me. It's always a pleasure to see you. And I'm excited to see you all here in Colorado in, like 6 weeks. It's coming up very quickly. So I will say I'm going to Mexico beforehand just to kind of relax before we get into the crazy. But everybody needs a vacation. So yeah, wonderful. It's great to see you all. And we will see everybody next week. Same time, same bat station. Have a good day, everyone.
Carrie.
Nice to see you too.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.